You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Friday night, laid back, feeling smooth. Looking for just a little something to get into. Tired of the same old scene. So when I saw you, there was no in between. You came up to me like something from out of my dreams. A woman from the pages of a magazine. Deep inside my heart, you scream. I can't understand. Hey, just wanna hold you, hey baby. How you do the things I'm watching you do. Oh, we're in this town. Just wanna make some love. All I wanna do, my girl, is dance with you. Now we're in this club, your cheek pressed to my face, trying not to lose control, but I ain't got no time to waste, cause I came up in the club, and it would be a lot of your love for my body. That's what I'm thinking of. Hey.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe. This is episode 495 of the podcast. Before we get into that, I hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you all are staying hydrated, staying cool, as we are now officially in summer for some time now. Before we get into the podcast, there's a few things I want to say up front. I know the last time you saw me was well over about a month ago, where we had Nick Andre, part of the Best Damn W show. And since then, I know I haven't been consistent on YouTube. You know, I have other responsibilities outside of YouTube, so I do apologize for that. There's some new content on teammbsmedia.com. Please check that out. If you're not already, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. I really much appreciate the support. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Hopefully by the end of the year, 1,000 subscribers. After this video, we're gonna work on week 10 WNBA rankings, my rankings for this current season, and then after that, week 11 will be All-Star break. We're getting close to that soon. Actually, the title of the video, I slept on this a little bit, and because this happened on the Sunday, and most people know now that the Los Angeles Sparks have fired Raegan Pebley, which is not surprising to me. With a winning percentage of 48% of their games, as a GM, I'm not too sure, what the identity was. When I say identity, let me clean. No, I want to make sure I clean this up. As an organization, I think it's important that from ownership, front office to the coaching staff, everybody is on the same page. Meaning, okay, how do we want, as an organization, what do we want to be known as? A 3-and-D type of offensive style, defense, whatever. And these last couple of years, the decision to go uber vet to where they're at now, I think that has now put the Sparks in a weird situation. So when I look at a couple things, I think you had to fire her, but I also too think Lynn Roberts is not safe. Obviously, we all know that as of up until Sunday, they lost to Chicago on Friday. Then they defeated Indiana. They defeated Indiana that went Wednesday and defeated Chicago Friday. They have, up until this season, they've missed the playoffs 5 times. I believe as of last night, I think still 9th because they lost to Atlanta. I Kelsey Plum, who's been out since the 21st last month, out due to injury. I don't just I, I I don't see it was time. Um, and I think with context, this matters. When you look at with the Sparks, I think a lot of it, for example, um, since Penny Toller was GM, I think from 2000 to about 2019, and then after that, um, I believe she was fired after giving. She was fired for that fiery speech in the locker room, and then then we all know Derek Fisher was hired, and not just as a GM but as a coach, and that was a horrendous decision. And then who was given? Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank on this on the guy as his replacement, but then Raegan. But there's somebody after Derek Fisher. I just can't think of his name. Please forgive me. And then Raegan came in, and then brought in Kurt Miller. Kurt, he left after one season. He went 20. I think he only won 25 games and lost 55 games in that 2 year span. 2 year span. Lynn Roberts, who's now 31 up until last night. She went 31, 34 out of Syracuse, Spain. Yeah. Okay, that's about right. So Cam Brink, second overall pick, for the record, drafting at the time, Cam Brink, the argument of who was the better pick, Cam Brink, Angel Reese. I still think Cam Brink was the better pick. You can fight me about it, but I think Cam Brink was the better pick. Second overall pick, Rickea Jackson. Fourth overall pick, traded for Kelsey Plum last year. And then you're bringing in Nneka Ogwumike. Well, let me rephrase. You traded for Ariel Atkins in Chicago, but you traded for Kelsey Plum last year. You brought in Nneka Ogwumike after 2 year, 2 years in Seattle, which that didn't really go well. If we're keeping it honest, Cam, I know, has been dealing with injuries. I think she's missed 48 games in 3 years. I think some of that is now you have to understand where do you go from here. I don't think they're a playoff team. I wasn't sold on them from the get-go. I just think from one, I think that I see the intention of you, like I said, signing Nneka, bringing in Eric Wheeler, and then signing Derek Hamby to a 3-year deal, and then getting Ariel Atkins. That's great. But, okay, you drafted Tania Latson this draft, 20th overall pick, and then you utilized her, try to make her as a point guard. That doesn't work. That was you didn't even have minutes for her. Then I'm trying to understand this, which transitions me, to Lynn Roberts to an extent, as a coach, with these picks, with this roster, how these players are being utilized. Tania Latson, now with Vegas, you try to experiment with her playing point guard, couldn't find minutes, but yet Alyssa Peely is on this roster. That doesn't make any sense. I'm curious to see what they're going to do, because I think August 2nd is the trade deadline. I don't think trades are going to fix this. I don't, because I think they had the core with Cam and Rickea. I think the problem I think they, to me, this was just me. I think once they missed out on, I think it was the 2025 draft lottery, once they missed out on that pick, I think that's when they decided to say, okay, we have to now go and compete, because trading for Rakia Jackson, even though she's out for the season, that was not a smart move. Now, then the way Lynn utilized her by just standing in the corner, shooting threes, and then having her slash to the rim, that was not her game. Errol Atkins, who, I covered her for a couple years in Washington, and watched her, hell of a player, but you're kind of getting, you're going to get good games. You're going to get you're going to get what you're going to get on paper. Then you traded those picks to Seattle and for Kelsey Plum and Kia Nurse. And who did that turn out to be in Seattle? Dominique Malonga and Awa Fame. And just Kia Nurse with the Sparks, I think only was 7 points a game. And now she's in Toronto. Again, you didn't protect, you traded the 8th overall pick, traded that to Chicago. Yeah, Julie Alleman, Leah Rue. Leah Rue was sent to Seattle, she's in Dallas. You last year took Sarah Ashley Barker, now in Portland. Sanaya Fagan, she's in Portland. Get well, Sanaya, was out for the season. But like I said, I really, really think last year when they missed out on the lottery pick to get Paige, I think that's when they pushed the panic button. I do. Because last year, who up until last year, winning, going 8-32 in the 2020, going 8-32, in 2024, I could see the vision with the youth movement. I mean, especially even with last year, Sanaya Fagan, Sarah Ashley Barker, Julie Alleman, Cameron Brink, and Ricky Jackson. That team could have done some things. But again, like when you go uber veteran, you're saying, no, we're not doing this. This is what we're going to do. You're pushing all your chips in the middle of the table. You didn't make the playoffs last year. And on top of that, you have to also understand this. These players like De'Erica Hamby, Kelsey Plum, Nneka Ogwumike, they're older. Like Kelsey Plum after this year is going to be a free agent, unrestricted. Nneka Ogwumike, unrestricted after this year. I would personally not giving De'Erica a three-year deal. That's just me. Ray Burrell, okay. Someone's going to overpay for her after this year. Chance Gray. I mean, you just have. I'm looking at a roster where you just have players that, if we're being honest, all do the same thing. And again, like when you look at this year, outside of Brink, Chance Gray, Kate Martin, and Alyssa Pilley, Cam Brink is the only lottery pick on this roster. I mean, Alyssa Pilley was a top 10 pick drafted by Minnesota, but she was. I don't see what she's going to bring differently to this team, because defensively, this team stinks. I looked at a stat from StatMuse, and they are one of the worst. They are 10th in defense. I think it's 109 and a half. If I'm going to mistake that. No, I'm sorry. That's last year. That was 2025. They're 14th. It's 113 defensive rating. That's at the bottom. So what's going to change? Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't think trades are going to fix this. And I know she said something. I know John Davis, shout out to John Davis, who covers the Sparks. I know he mentioned something about, I think, prior to her getting fired, that she was going to make some moves prior to the deadline. And then come out Friday that you're fired. I mean, it's Sunday that she gets fired. I just think like they're not. No, I'm just not seeing the. Here's the reality. The trade ideas are great, but the reality is the WNBA teams cannot take on more salary than the remaining cap space allowed in trades. Like, for example, right, De'Erica, she's what, 32, and I think okay, I know she's not going to get traded, but a player like Errol Atkins, right, she signed for 2 year, for a 2-year deal. Shooting, she's not having an Errol Atkins type season. I think she's scoring almost like 9 points a game. Who's going to take that contract? And then what's the offer you're getting for her? Erica Wheeler has another year. She's 35. I think it's what she's making, $625K. I mean, she'd be a backup point guard for most teams, but what are you getting for her? And then on top of that, I think they're like 85, 86K in cap space. So if you're looking to buy, you're going to have to make some tough decisions. I just think that this has come back to bite them in the ass, and this goes back to this has context. It is a lack of inconsistencies, and it starts at the top and it works its way down. It has to start with, okay, this is our vision. This is what is our identity? This is the vision. This is what we're going to. This is the core that we're going to build around. I thought it was going to be Cam and Rakia. They didn't see it that way. Now you're going to go potentially into next year. I personally don't see Lynn Roberts there next year because even though Coach Trammell was there last year and kind of got you better defensively, you look worser than you did. I don't know, but this is the consequence, ladies and gentlemen, on why you don't rush a rebuild. That's why I use the Washington Mystics for an example. Like the criticisms that I hear from people, like, for example, people criticize why the Mystics re-signed Shakira Austin. While taking Lauren Betts at number 4 was a great pick, Lauren Betts still needs time to develop. We can't just throw players out on the court just because of how they looked in college. You got to understand the transition from college to the pros, totally different atmosphere. You got to give players time. And everybody doesn't transition like that. I feel as though like patience, especially with teams, is not there. And I feel like I'm starting to notice with the W, it's starting to become a copycat league where we're trying to build low-key super teams. And this was a super team that just failed. Even with NECA. Now I know NECA is great. I know she's going to surpass Candace's record, most points, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I know we still got more basketball games to play. We still got a second half of the season, but I don't see them making the playoffs. I'm not confident. And if they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. But Kelsey Plum's not there. I had her making the All-Star team for sure, but she's not there. That sucks. NECA definitely had her making the All-Star team for sure. But now, I mean, their assistant GMs will take over. But now we just got to see how they'll look going forward. But in closing, I'm not surprised how this went down. I'm curious to see what they'll do at the trade deadline, which is with August 2nd. But it's clear with Raegan, without any previous front office experience, Kurt Miller, I don't think deserved to get fired because I got to take in consideration the roster he had, but that's okay. But that's where the Sparks are at. But I think let's look at the schedule real quick. Who did the Sparks play this week? I know they lost to Atlanta last night. which was a great basketball game. Just by the way, they play the Lynx. Oh, 1 o'clock game. Jesus. But yeah, man, y'all let me know your thoughts on the Los Angeles Sparks. How do you feel about the situation? Do you feel as though the Sparks can turn it around? Do you see a trade? How do you feel about the situation? What's your thoughts on Len Roberts? A lot of people are saying Len Roberts is next, which I wouldn't necessarily fire a coach in the middle of the season. We got to see how the rest of the season looks, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's relieved of her duties after this season. But also, too, just because Magic Johnson is a part of this ownership group, how much of a say does he have? Like, for example, right, the Baltimore Orioles, okay, as of now, 2 years now, David Rubenstein owns them. Cal Ripken and Grant Hill have a stake in this team. Now, in those meetings, how much of a say do they have? At the end of the day, like, I think there's other people in the ownership group that also we have to hold accountable to when it comes to the Sparks. And that's for all these teams. But another example of just the Sparks just being inconsistent. But also, I also want to say this. I also saw this, the idea of Swin Cash being a GM and then hiring Lisa Leslie as a coach. That's we got to stop throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. Swin Cash, I know she's doing great things with the on the NBA side with the Pelicans, if I remember correctly. But Lisa Leslie, for example, has no coaching experience. I'm not here to throw shade, none of that stuff, nothing like that. Like, if we're being honest, like, she needs to have some type of experience. Start as an assistant. Like, I get it, but like, because they played for the Sparks, that doesn't mean anything. The biggest thing is, if Lisa struggled, I mean, we're throwing her in the ocean. She's getting. I mean, the criticism she would get would be crazy. So, I think Swin would be okay. I don't know if she's still with the Pelicans, but I know she was with them for 6 seasons as of last year. So, but that's going to conclude this episode for me. Please like, comment, and subscribe for our future content. You will see the rankings from me in a little bit, but enjoy the rest of your day. Please stay safe out there. Check on loved ones, and we will talk soon. Peace. Stay up.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you. It's Friday night and I hit up the crew. Grab the keys, jump in my ride, cruise the town and find something new. Hit the club, the DJ's got the dance floor in a groove, and none of that compares to when I turned around and saw you. I can't understand it, girl. How you do the things I'm watching you do. While we're in this club, hey, all I wanna do is dance with you. I wanna dance with you. The moment that I saw your face, I knew I wasn't leaving till I got a chance to know you. But I'm still nervous, trying not to lose my cool. So I'm stuck sitting watching you. I don't know what to do. Can't